Good evening and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Alderman Budget Workshop. It is April 14th, 2025. It is 5:30 p.m. Call this workshop to order. First items we have is a public comment period, which we have no one who signed up. Then we're going to move into our budget discussions, and we're going to start off with the nonprofits. We've got a few here to speak to the board. When you hear your organization called, please come up to the podium and tell the board about your organization. If anyone has any questions, they can ask at the end. We are going to start off with the domestic violence and sexual assault. Erica Downing?
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you. So I'm the executive director of the Domestic Violence Sexual Assault Center in Rutherford County, so we serve all of the county. We provide services for survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking. We provide 4 core services with our organization, our core advocacy department. We help individuals file petitions for an order of protection. We have our counseling services that are for past and current survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking. We also have an emergency safe shelter that is a 31-bed facility in an undisclosed location in Murfreesboro. We house both men, women, and children that are fleeing or experiencing domestic violence. We also have a 24/7 crisis line for that immediate crisis intervention for any survivors or families of survivors that are looking for our services. And we also have an on-site forensic examination room for anyone who's experienced a sexual assault. Instead of reporting to the emergency room to be provided that exam, they can actually come to our office to have that exam completed. So our mission is to protect victims, prevent violence, and empower survivors. So we accomplish that mission by providing free comprehensive services, resources, and assistance necessary to effectively deal with the personal, physical, mental, and emotional, social, and legal implications of domestic violence and sexual assault. We have been an organization in Rutherford County since 1986.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, you answered one of my questions, was
Okay.
how long have you been here? Is this the first time you've been before us?
Yes,
here
sir,
at
it
the
has.
city?
Yes, sir.
Do you go before the other cities?
Yes, sir. We do receive funding from Smyrna, Rutherford County, and the city of Murfreesboro as well.
And can I ask why you've never come to us?
Actually, I have only been the director for 6 years, and so still learning all the funding sources within the county. I missed the deadline last year to apply for the council, so I had it on my radar this year to apply. So honestly, it's just ignorance on my part as a new director of the agency.
So they may know, I don't. So tell me from like, when do they get to you?
Our clients.
Yeah, is that the clients?
So, yes. So typically, we receive calls from law enforcement officers across Rutherford County from City of Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, and county that they've been in contact with a domestic violence victim or a sexual assault survivor, and they are reaching out for our services, getting them connected with our shelter, possibly find an order of protection, and just making sure that we're making those connections and resources, referrals that they may need in order to address the trauma that they've just experienced. A lot of the times they are just kind of self-referrals that they've done a search for domestic violence services within the area, and so they contact us to kind of figure out what their first steps are, their next steps are, because they may not be ready to leave that domestic violence situation, but they're kind of in that fact-finding mission of trying to figure out what their next steps may be to talk to an advocate and go from there.
So if we called them, chief,
What's that?
we've called them?
I have not been in contact with them, so personally. But we have a wonderful working relationship with a lot of the different outreach groups here in Rutherford County.
And how's it going so far? I mean, do you get a good positive, they go back, I hear a lot of that, you know.
It is hard to leave a domestic violence relationship. It typically takes 7 times for someone to leave that domestic violence relationship, and typically that violence escalates each time they decide to leave. And the most dangerous time for a survivor to leave is when they've decided it's time to leave, and that abuser is seeing their power and control slip away. So it's not uncommon for the survivors that we work with to go back. However, we are working with about 36 survivors each year, and those are the ones that are coming forward for our services. So we see between a 7 to 8% increase of overall services each year.
If I could just make one additional comment, though. The last homicide that we had here in the city of Laverne was domestic violence related, and during the course of my career, I spent 4.5 years in the Sensitive Crimes Division investigating a lot of crimes involving domestic violence. This is a very important issue that we should probably be a very strong partner with.
Okay.
Any other questions? Vice Mayor?
No questions, but I do hear that comment a lot, and it takes 5 or 6 times to get out of that. I just can't. I don't understand it. I can't fathom.
You know, it's hard when you're in that relationship to break away, because you're still kind of holding on to the good part of that relationship and kind of hoping that things get better. You know, domestic violence is about power control. It's not about love. And so, you know, again, I think as human beings, you know, we crave to be in relationships and be with that partner, and we're holding on to the good times and not focusing so much on the bad. And sometimes, you know, a lot of our survivors, when they come in, they don't realize they're in a domestic violence relationship until they kind of disclose the details of what they've been going through. And we get the power and control wheel out, and we show them these are tactics that your abuser is using to keep you in that relationship. And hopefully, you know, giving them the tools that they can recognize that that's the situation that they're in, and that they need to get out of the situation before it's too late.
I'm done.
Carol?
I'm good. Vice Mayor asked my questions.
So how did y'all land on $5,000?
It's close to on par with what we received from the city of Smyrna, the town of Smyrna. It's 1% of the budget that we run. We run a $1.5 million budget. That's comprised of federal, state, and local funding, and private foundations and local donations as well. So all the services that we provide are at no cost. So, you know, we live and die by donations and grants, which is part of my responsibilities as executive director, is that I'm in charge of all the funding, fundraising, grant writing, things of that nature. So I get to wear multiple hats on a regular basis, and hopefully keep the doors open, the lights on, and things of that nature. But we want to make sure that we are providing quality, compassionate services for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, because we know we get one opportunity to get it right. If they come in our doors and they don't feel welcome, and they don't feel like they're supported, then they're going to walk right out those doors, and potentially that's a life into the situation.
No question, but I will say you're very well-spoken and present a very compelling case.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
good
you.
job.
I appreciate that.
And I take it last year, or the current fiscal year, is when Smyrna came on board with you guys?
Smyrna has been on board with us for a couple of years through the Smyrna Assistant Charity Fund, not through the town of Smyrna, but through one of their subcommittees. And we've received funding from the city of Murfreesboro and Rutherford County for at least 20 years.
Okay. Okay.
Well before my time as director, so.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we are going to move on to special kids. Ms. Casey.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know it's got to be difficult to make decisions when you see lots of different cases that need support. And so I'm with Special Kids of Murfreesboro, and our mission is to take care of the special needs health care issues that our families encounter. The number one issue that we deal with is autism. I have a few flyers that I'll give to you in just a second, but there's currently in Rutherford County, we have 16,000 kids that are dealing with special health care needs, and we see about 900 of them in our facility. We have two different facilities. We have a therapy facility and a nursing facility. Our nursing facility takes care of our extreme cases that need care from 9:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon. Some come earlier at 7 if their parents are working. And that they have a one-on-one nurse or a nurse's aide that is with them. This is for kids that are experiencing tube feedings that need the care of a nurse so that our parents can work. After COVID, we really experienced a change in healthcare. A lot were moving to home health, and a lot of care wanted to be in the home. Well, then our parents couldn't work because a family member has to be home, and so a lot of our parents experienced that their insurance was only going to take care of the kids that were at home, and so they couldn't work, which created a financial problem for our parents. Our therapy center does OT, PT, speech, and feeding therapy. These are 45-minute appointments where they can do all of the care that they need at our therapy center. Our biggest right now need is in our feeding therapy, where feeding, when I first started working there, I thought it was just for on the tube. But this is also teaching kids how to just like touch food. Kids that are really sensitive to texture, don't want to experience anything new. We teach them how, in our feeding therapy, how to experience that food and be okay with that. A win for us sometimes is trying something and spitting it out. A lot of us I taught my kids that what I put in front of you, you eat. And that is something we're having to change. A lot of it is parent education, that it is an actual diagnosis and they are struggling with the texture of something or the look of something or the feel of something as opposed to just not liking it. And so a lot of our problem is helping the parent. Like me, I had a kid that was on the spectrum and I did it all wrong. I taught him that you sit at that table until I say get up, and because I want you to eat this food. And so we're really having to overcome just that, or a happy plate. What is a happy plate? It means we ate everything on the plate. And so a lot of our kids, especially with autism, are struggling with dealing with those food textures and those issues. The other, of course, we have 2 gyms in our facility that we have a climbing wall. We do a slide. If they do well, they get to go down the slide. We have trikes that are made specifically for kids that can't use a traditional bike, and they get to use that. And so that is pretty much the bulk of what we do. Our biggest ask is for just operating funds, because when we hear operating, we think of salaries. The biggest thing that we deal with is most of our patients are on TennCare, and TennCare gets to decide how many sessions you get and what they're going to reimburse. And so most of our facilities that deal with special needs kids can only accept a few TennCare patients because the reimbursement level is so low. We've all experienced it. You've gone to the doctor, what does the insurance pay? Barely what is the doctor's visit. And so our goal in the development office is to fulfill that gap. So we still want the kids to get the services that they need to get to kindergarten, to get to first grade, to do well in school. And in order to do that, they have to have more sessions than what insurance tells them that they can have. And so our biggest need is filling in that gap from what insurance will pay and what a parent has to pay. And so we work on a sliding scale, and we want them to be able to we don't turn away kids, so we want them to be able to experience what they need, the sessions that they need.
Any questions?
Oh, absolutely.
I knew they were coming. I was looking at you.
Well, we have to make decisions for citizens' money.
Oh, I understand. It's a
So once
important
again,
role.
this is your first time before us.
It is my first time. I just started working at Special Kids. I've been
Okay,
here, but Special Kids has been here before. I think they submitted in 2020 and 2021. And I think 20 they didn't receive it, and 21 they did.
So you mentioned, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned salary for yourself, for your workers, for...
No, that would be for our we asked for operating, which would be for our therapist.
So you're volunteer, you're all nonprofits volunteering? There's no,
There is salary for mine, but this, we're not asking for that. This would be just for our therapist.
so
It's a
who
different
pays you?
budget.
Who pays you?
The nonprofit does pay me.
That's all I got.
Brian? Good. Carol?
You said you just came on board,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? How long has, the special kids been in Rutherford County?
26 years.
Okay. And where's the facility? Is it basically in Murfreesboro?
It's in Murfreesboro,
And then the kids or the families come from all over Rutherford County?
all over Rutherford County. 96% is in Rutherford County. We have 1% in Davidson, 1 in Cannon, and a little bit percentage, but the main is Rutherford County school kids. And we work with Rutherford County schools also.
Okay, can you just kind of give me a roundabout figure for Laverne? Or do you know?
Laverne, I don't have it by, we don't do it by, we just do it by county. When the parent, because of HIPAA, the parent just puts in their county, and so I just know it by Rutherford County.
Okay. That's all.
So, question, you mentioned that this would be for operating. At the same time, the letter says this is for expanding services for the comprehensive outpatient rehab facility.
That is our feeding therapy, which I was discussing. So that would be operating in going into our feeding therapy, which is where most of the kids are struggling. We just hired a full-time feeding therapist that he works with. All he does is the feeding therapy, and we're looking to hire one more that can do it. We can't keep him, his schedule is booked all week. So that will be the next, would be operating for him,
Okay.
a new feeding therapy.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Next, we're going to go over to Ron Alley with Carpe Artista.
Thank you for having me very much, and I thank you for your consideration. Carpe Artista's main purpose is training and empowering the next generation of entertainment and arts industry leaders, providing a foundation to positively impact our culture. We do this by undergirding everything with our 4 pillars of core values, which are character, calling, craft, and community, and we teach our students very heavily from those bases to utilize the power of their art to make a difference in our culture. That's our goal. We accomplish this goal by 2 main programming focuses. First of all, primarily is education in the arts with our academy, with ongoing private instruction in music, voice, guitar, just about any instrument you can think of, as well as visual art and drawing, painting, sculpting, mixed media, photography, digital media. Then we also do classes in violin and guitar and band and musical theater. And our musical theater program, we also have travel teams. And musical theater is the biggest area that we impact or have connection with Laverne. We have partnered for a number of years with Roy Waldron School and Dr. O'Kane, who directs our musical theater program, utilizes that facility for a lot of our rehearsals, as well as she directs the theater program for Roy Waldron. So they're actually in the middle right now of their preparation for their spring musical, which is Finding Nemo, and she's right in the thick of it with their students. But then those students have gone on and grown over the last 14 years to where out of the last 4 years, we've had 4 of your own students that have gone on to acting schools in New York, students that started at Roy Waldron and in the program there, and are now have scholarships and are attending acting schools in New York. 3 of them in the last 2 years. So very impressive, that engagement. Probably one most notable is Miss Robin Phelps, who is at Laverne High School and helps to direct the technical aspects of the productions, and she's a senior this year. She has, for the last 4 years, been heavily engaged in the productions there and helping to drive that from a technical standpoint. Robin also recruited a number of students that have come from the high school into our programs and into our travel teams with students like Jordan Wilson and Anya Murskov and Mila Walker. Mila won a Spotlight Award for the State Spotlight Awards this past year, as well as Robin won the Spotlight Award for the tech part of the tech award for the state of Tennessee. So that's an amazing honor. She was also at JTF, Junior Theater Festival in Atlanta, with our groups for the last 6 years. Was an outstanding student with that. Won the Sheridan Giles Technical Theater Award in 2022. And then for the last 2 years, she's been one of 8 students awarded the Tech All-Stars out of 5,500 students at that event. So Robin's amazing, and we're thankful that we have the opportunity to work with students like Robin. There are middle school students coming up as well, like Aisle Spain, and her mom has been on a number of our theater travel trips to New York or to Atlanta, as well as Lila Lingenfelter. And then there's young ones coming up. But that's most notable, how we interact, and a number of students, probably 20% of our theater students are engaged, 20 to 25% are engaged that come from Laverne schools. So your work with us, your partnering with us in the past years in support, we were able to purchase some professional microphones, wireless microphones, and lighting that we continue to use here in Laverne schools and provide that kind of technical support for Roy Waldron, and that not only supports Laverne schools, but it supports schools and theater programs all across the North Rutherford County. So that's really our focus, is we want to see things happen in the arts for students all across North Rutherford County. So that's what we do. It's what we love doing.
Steve, do you have any questions?
Is that Teresa's daughter?
Robin?
It is.
Oh, it is.
Okay, yeah, I seen where she's doing something. Yeah, but I think everybody on this board knows what work you do, and you've been around a while. You're not afraid to come.
Since 2011, so yeah, still trying to make things happen in North Rutherford County.
I still miss the restaurant, but
Thank you for
We'll
that.
talk about that some other time.
We appreciate that. All good things have their time frame, and
I get it.
right now that was one we had to let go so we could focus more on what we're doing with the students.
Well, anytime food shuts down, I get this.
He does accept plates delivered. Graham, Carol, y'all have any questions?
On an average, how many students do you have every year?
Around 300 to 400 across all of our programs, okay? We have somewhere around 300 that are engaged in our summer camps, and then currently we have 170 who are engaged in ongoing private instruction or our class instruction. So that doesn't actually include our theater program. Our theater program kind of rotates in and out depending on what production they're working on at the time, and that roughly is somewhere between 55 and 60 students engaged throughout the year, just rotating in and out.
Is that all in Laverne or for the county?
That's all over the county.
Okay. Thanks.
Carol?
So, all over the county, Murfreesboro and Smyrna, they include,
Correct,
so,
correct.
thank you for what y'all do.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor.
And then, last but not least, we've got Club Knockout. I think we have Robert and Candace Crutcher. Y'all could come up.
Candace, come on. Oh, no, we don't want you here. Stay back there.
Cheeseburger. He said something about food a while ago, so I just wanted to say cheeseburger first off, so Steve will get it understood where I'm
Bring
at.
pizza, bring pizza.
Okay, pizza and cheeseburger. Sorry. Give me 30 seconds. All right, good evening. Good evening. I swear I do this every year. Sorry, forgive me, y'all. Please forgive me. I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm gonna do it. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Alderman, Alderwoman. My name is Robert Crutcher, and I'm the head coach and president of Club Knockout. Club Knockout, our mission statement is, Club Knockout's a nonprofit. Our mission is to have a safe environment dedicated to fostering fitness, academic, leadership skills. The club encourages all individuals to live a healthier lifestyle, build self-esteem, and become a responsible, productive member in the community. Our goal is to provide a positive and supportive atmosphere for all involved. Our motto is hard work, dedication, and perseverance. My newest slogan is let's do it. And today we're asking for funding to help with the rent. Our rent is crazy high. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. We fund all the water, try to give it all free for the young guys and girls. I got with me right here Calais. Calais probably one of the most talented kids that we've all met. Everybody behind me will agree. But he wrote something and he loves to talk, so I'm gonna let him talk for a little bit, just if it's allowed.
It's allowed, but can you tell us, before he speaks, a little bit about your program?
Yep. So our program is Laverne's first, well, we started in Laverne in the late 80s. I got my pops right there. He was a product of Laverne boxing when it was at the city hall, or right here, we at the city hall, when it was at the multi-purpose building. Program just want to teach kids how to be better. It's not even to me about boxing. I tell everybody all the time, I'd rather have smart people than a bunch of boxers. Just a bunch of good people. I just want to make good people. And we got to start with our youth, you know. So crazy, just overall, it's a crazy world we live in. And I like to make and be a good steward in the community. Yeah, I'm horrible. Excuse me. And I got, you know, God, I'm sweating. That's not. It's just gonna be sticky in this episode. Bring me a towel. It's bad. I'm horrible. I'm not a.
If you want to let him speak.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Calais speak, guys. Please forgive me.
Yo, he
Just
look
to
like he
save
just
you?
hopped out the pool. Nah. Anyway, basically, the Club Knockout Boxing Gym is like a safe haven for kids who need guidance. Like he said, it's more than just boxing. A lot of kids who come there, they end up, if they do leave, they end up leaving with like better confidence or better respect. It's really just basically you go there, you can. People who have like deep dreams of becoming pro, they can stay there and become pro. People who just want to get there and get fit, like Ivan, he's, you know, he used to be way bigger, but now he's like, oh my bad. It's okay, my bad. Yeah, but like as you can see, he it's slimmed down to like a dad bob, so it's not too bad. But so it basically that is like you just go there. Some people we usually coach. We have another coach there. His name's Coach Abdullah, and he comes in there sometimes and he volunteers to like help around. And because there's some kids who actually they have like a lot of talent, and sometimes coach will see it and he try to put more into them and try to basically help them become better, to basically help them become something that they can't see themselves but he can see in them, right? So it's basically it's a gym, and it's a good gym.
So-
It's like
That's good. Thank you.
oh, that's good.
So hold on, since he's up here, hold
Yeah,
on.
I got some questions for
What-
him.
I got you.
For me, I want to know, why is Club Knockout important to you?
Club knockout is important to me because first when I went there, fun fact, I didn't know how to jump rope. And they ended up teaching me how to jump rope. That's like something every child needs to learn. Also, it's like not just that, but besides like all the jokes and stuff, it really helped me. Honestly, like my room used to be really dirty. Now my room's not dirty. Like it
Is
just
your
helped
mom
me.
here to confirm that?
Nah. Don't tell her. But it honestly helped me with like respect. You know, yes sir, no ma'am. It helped me keep my grades up. I never used to have bad grades, but it helped me stay more on top of my grades. So now I end like the school year with like A's and B's, sometimes a couple C's, but I'm still passing, so it's okay. But yeah, it really just it helps people in need who need guidance can come there, and if they don't want a boxer, like my mom, right? My mom, she used to come in there. She used to like parents used to come in there, and they can let's say they can just come in there and watch like their kids in the ring fight other kids. Sounds crazy, but it's kind of fun. My mom, I remember there was at some point, my mom, we have like an upstairs area, and my mom would go in there. She would have like a little desk, and since she's a teacher, kids who come in there and let's say they want to stay on top of their grades, but it's very hard for them, they could go up there like after like for an hour, and my mom would help them with their grades. She would teach them, like let's say they had Spanish class. Since she speaks Spanish, she can teach them words in Spanish. Or math class. She can go there, help them with math, reading, science, all that. So it's really it's just to help people, not just go in there and once you go in there, once you start, you have to go pro. Nah, it's not that. You can go in there. Some people go in there, they learn how to fight, but that's just for self-defense. They don't even want to really, they don't really become Mike Tyson in them. So, yeah.
Robert, let me ask you this, since you're drenched in sweat. Can you have the people who both go to both go to Club Knockout and the parents that are with y'all today stand up?
Yeah. Can everybody that's here with me stand up?
That's like 10,000. That's big.
Maybe a few less, and then for the actual ones that are involved with Club Knockout, can you just raise your hand if it helps you with your self-esteem, discipline, or with your school?
Like he said, I lost weight. So
Don't worry, I found it for you.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. Y'all can sit down.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Vice Mayor, no, you've got some questions.
Well, Club Knockout to me is kind of like Ron being up here. I think everybody knows about him. And me being a 20-plus year volunteer for kids and coaching ball of all kinds, when it comes to this guy wants to arm wrestle with you.
Don't even try.
Well, I've already beaten Robert, so.
But anyway,
Chris Pate, he's one of my boxers as well. I'm gonna let him speak real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Steve, but we coming back cheeseburger.
How you doing, Steve? My name is Chris Pate. Trained at Club Knockout for a number of years. Former Murfreesboro police sergeant and SWAT team member. And I understand a lot of times with the city, it's
y'all hiring chief.
yes. Well, we've met. Chief actually came up to Murfreesboro, so we've actually spoken a few times. So, but I understand, a lot of times with the city, it's about investment, return on investment. And I think your return on investment with Club Knockout is you're getting kids off the street. All right. On a busy day, you might have 20 or 30 kids in their training. That's 20 or 30 kids you don't have breaking into cars, doing drugs, running around, staying on Facebook, TikTok, learning different trends that are going on. So, you're getting them around a positive person in the community. Coach Robert, he's there for those kids. He's not getting rich off this gym. He goes and works a full-time job, him and his wife, and then they go and dedicate their time to the gym afterwards. And so those kids are learning discipline. They're around kids that they might not normally be around. Hispanic kids hanging out with black kids hanging out with white kids. Those kids might never cross paths outside of boxing. So you're getting so much more than, just kids learning to fight. They're learning how to be men and women, adults, learning all the things that coach is teaching them. So, myself, I'm grateful for that. And for me, being able to go to the gym, it allowed kids to see me, because everyone knew I was a cop, but it allowed them to see a cop outside of the job. Being around him, being around me, and being like, oh, he doesn't have the uniform on. He's just like everybody else, He sweats, he bleeds, he, cries because coach is yelling at me, So it's really a great place, and I love Coach, I love his wife, and I love everything about the gym. So.
Thank you, brother.
As I was going to say was, I think we're very familiar with Club Knockout. And anytime anybody volunteers their time to, what was the old saying about the, was it the Shriners? No man has ever stood tall until he has stooped to help a child. So anytime volunteers can help children, I'm all for it.
Alderman Coates.
That was no more questions.
Ms. Haas.
All right. I've been in the gym,
Yes, ma'am.
and I want to know how many kids appreciate the PT program. That is physical training. Raise your hands if you appreciate the physical training. Just to let you know, I'm prior military, so I know what PT is. Yeah. So, going through the physical training program, has that improved your discipline? Oh, yeah, he did. Nobody else? Come on, raise your hands, guys. I can't. Yeah, okay. I raised a son, I know, All right. So, hey, leave me alone. I'm the only one that can tell them that, so. So, looking at your future, will the physical training and the disciplinary programs, do you foresee it helping you in going to future college or trade school or whatever else you decide? Yes. Yes, ma'am? Oh, I heard yes, ma'ams. That's awesome. Thank you, Robert and Candace. They said yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Of course. Of course.
Okay, so I was at the car wash that y'all had, and I saw a lot of the kids out there helping, and it really showed how much support you have for Robert, Candace, the other adult volunteers that were out there, and the coaches, even holding signs on Murfreesboro Road and stuff. So I really appreciate all that you all do to support Coach Robert and Miss Candace. So I just wanted to get the PT and the disciplinary things in. How many are keeping your rooms clean like the other
Calais.
gentleman is? Really? So I can walk in your house and check out your bedrooms? I don't see that.
Mm-hmm. I got all their
no.
addresses.
You got their
got
addresses?
their addresses.
You know, I can do a white glove test and everything.
One thing, Alderwoman, that I forgot to mention, there was, we had somewhere in our application, there was a typo about what we was requesting, and we essentially put that our overhead was 38,000. That was the truth. Well, what we're requesting is 25,000 from the city. I just wanted to clear that up, so it's on record that the 38 grand was a typo, and we're actually asking for 25.
So, I think we ask you this every year.
Yes, sir.
Have you all come up with some more type of fundraising
Yes, sir.
to help offset
Yes, sir.
anything?
So a couple of years ago, USA Boxing went and we always had to have a medical doctor or a DO, MD or a DO on staff for an event, and for a boxing show. And they requested that the doctors take a class that my current doctor that I was using at the time, she didn't want to take the class. So I now have a doctor, so I will have a show, at least 2, hopefully 3 shows, God willing, this year. I just got word and contact with the doctor about 2 weeks ago, so I'm looking at dates and seeing when we could have a show. And also, we'll do another car wash this year, maybe 2 this summer. We've in the chili fundraiser come the fall. We were supposed to do one this past year, but a separate business deal that I have sort of impeded with that, and we wasn't able to make it happen. But chili fundraiser, boxing events, car washes. So yes, sir, we have done, and we are seeking other fundraising opportunities as well.
And what about, what do they do to help repay to the city as far as traffic or parking and things like that? Do we?
So I got that right here. We volunteer for, yes, sir, I have it. We volunteer for most, well, I'm gonna say most. If we get asked to volunteer, ask for assistance from Parks and Rec to assist with any of the events that the city's having, we will. We've done the Goblins and Goblins and Goodies. Of course, we're at National Night Out, the Fall Festival, the Block Party. We help with those events for parking, as well as we have young men and women that go out and they work the rides or the jump houses or whatnot. Yes, sir.
Is that true, David?
Yes, sir, 100% of the time.
All right. I'm done.
Any other questions?
I'm done. Y'all do a great job, and the kids, they're awesome, very polite whenever they're out working, helping with Parks and Rec or anything else in the city. So y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess you can stop sweating.
I've just stopped now. That part's over. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Robert. With that, we're going to take a recess and come back for the next portion of the budget.